Matthew. Today we want to look at Matthew chapter 9. Matthew chapter 9, verses 14 to 17. Matthew chapter 9, we go down to verses 14 to 17. Then John's disciples came to him and said, "Why is it that we fast, but your disciples do not?" Jesus replied, "Surely the bridegroom's attendants cannot mourn as long as the bridegroom is still with them. But the time will come when the bridegroom is taken away from them, and they will fast." A question about fasting and how did Jesus turn this? He speaks of himself as the bridegroom, the person who really is leading and guiding. And if the master, the bridegroom, the person in charge is there is no sadness. Once Jesus is in our hearts, there is no sadness. There is no time for weeping. There is no time for mourning. There is no time for sadness, because the master is in our hearts. And that is what the Lord wants us to understand. The master is among us. There is no time for weeping. There is no time for mourning. There is no time, well, if you want to look at it, fasting, because those of us who do our fasting, we know that it could bring on, a certain, well, it's penance, prayer, and fasting. That's they go together. Prayer, penance, fasting, almsgiving. So if Jesus is here among us, we are aware of that. It's a time for celebration. Now we can argue and say, but Jesus is always among us, therefore there is always time for celebration and prayer. Why then, where do we put fasting? A time for everything. A time for prayer, a time for fasting, a time for celebrating. Amen.